I spent 150 days trying to make Minecraft's scariest biome into a cozy pumpkin paradise. There were quite a few challenges along the way, like building in a whole new build palette. Early game in the Pale Garden is extremely difficult. And of course, there were a few deaths. Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome. If you're new here, welcome back. My codename is Nightingale, but you can call me Bird for short. And today I am so excited to finally bring this video to you because I've been working on it over a month now. Pretty sure there's like 10 to 15 hours of gameplay in this single world. But nonetheless, I'm so proud of what I've done and I can't wait to show you. So now, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. If you want to try this challenge yourself, the seed I used is in the seed templates tab in world creation. But if you don't have that in Java Edition, then here's the seed. I'm also turning on bonus chest and turning off fire spreads because I don't want to accidentally burn down everything I've built. Other than that, I didn't change anything else, so let's jump into the world. I spawned into the world and took a look at my surroundings and into my chest. Nothing too special. Then I collected everything. And booked it the heck out of there. I know the challenge is supposed to be in the Pale Garden, but it's literally the worst place to spawn. Anyway, I made my way down the river to both a birch forest and a ruined nether portal. And borrowed the armor and got into the ground for tools and smited some sheep for wool. I also collected my first pumpkins of many in this world. Then I admired the sunset over the Pale Garden and went to sleep. After a nap, I went back to the Pale Garden, geared up and ready to go into the cave I knew was there, because I did go into the seed beforehand to locate things I need, because if I didn't, I would not be able to get this video done. I found a cubby hole in the wall, reached over, set my stuff up, dumped some things, and headed down. And of course was welcomed by a horde of zombies, which I took care of. Pro Minecraft. But then definitely did not panic at all when I was met by this spawn of terror. But I regrouped very calm and collected and took care of the problem. And then this is the part where I was very glad this is not a hardcore challenge. At least I didn't panic. So I did the walk of shame back to my things. And got to work collecting coal and iron, which I immediately smelted and turned into a shield due to recent events. Then I was exploring a bit more into this cave when I missed my jump. I'm a pro Minecrafter, guys, I promise. So I once again did the walk of shame back to the hole, and I swear guys, there's water down there. I just didn't jump into it. Take 3! I know it may be stupid to try the same thing again, but I hit the water this time, guys. It's fine. Everything's fine. After definitely not a creeper exploding, I came across some axolotls. So of course I made a very reasonable decision with the very little iron I had and made a bucket to catch the axolotls so they could live in my upcoming pumpkin village. I mined more iron and went deeper into the cave, where of course I was welcomed very kindly and came across more axolotls, which of course I scooped up. I actually also came across the deep dark, which I did not go down, but I did keep it in mind in case I wanted to do a star-like ceiling in one of my builds, but I never got silk touch in any of this, so I didn't come back to collect skulk. After making it back to the surface, I crafted the all-important and beautiful lodestone and compass. Using these were very important because when I tested this idea out, I could not find my way back to my base for the life of me. So, I made those and packed up my things and went to go find a place to build my village, which was pretty difficult due to the sheer amount of trees here. It was kind of hard to find a flat enough spot, even though I was going to terraform. But eventually I found one and started lighting it up. Then set the lodestone down and connected it to the compass. And I was putting my things away when I realized I had made a dreadful mistake. You see, it had just become night, so the creaking has spawned, but so will normal hostile mobs, and since the forest is basically roofed, maybe 70% of them won't burn in the day. And I had left my bed in the cave. So I had to run around the forest at the dead of night, evading both the creaking and other mobs trying to kill me, attempting to locate the cave where my bed was, and not even realizing that I was much closer than I realized I was. I did eventually find it, but I was being a little risky and, of course, missed my jump. I got to sleep though! After that, I walked back, bed in hand, and decided it was time to chop trees for a couple hours. And when I say a couple hours, I mean somewhere between 3 and 5 hours, I was just purely chopping trees. After I filled a double chest with logs and cleared out a spot, I traveled a couple thousand blocks to the closest mesa to collect terracotta, which is one of the blocks I use the absolute most. And this was not my last trip here. Then I decided to get working on my house. If you're wondering why the area is looking a bit more developed, it's because I had already put walls up for a house, but I hated how it looked, so I tore it down to start again. And I started building pillars using dark oak logs. Then a friend came by and I said hi. I filled the walls with orange terracotta and textured it with acacia planks, which definitely becomes a pattern for my builds in this village. Then I made a roof completely out of dark oak. Just a simple A-frame. This fancy roof making comes later. I went back into the cave for some tuff and then some stone. Dug up my floor and installed new ones. Put in windows and made a very good financial decision with my iron to make some lanterns to put on my house. I put a door on and started on the interior. Looking inside, I have a bunch of furnaces, some storage, a place to sleep, and the all important clock because since I have vibrant visuals on, I can never tell what time it is here. After a break to plan where buildings are going to go, I started work on the windmill, which was going to go next to my house. I started with building pillars out of spruce logs and built the walls just from acacia planks this time. I haven't built a windmill before, but I saw a picture of like one and I was like, I can do that. And started to build, which I'm sure it was fine. I just made a circle, then made it smaller towards the top, which only took like 3 layers for it to be tall enough. Then, when I was satisfied with it, I made a roof with dark oak and decided to make a jack-o'-lantern to put it on top and loved it. Then I started on the blades which were surprisingly simple. But I had to collect the wool, so it stayed bare bones for now. As I continued to add pumpkins around it. And started to make the pumpkin patch so I could grow more decorations. I looked at my creation with the wandering trader, then figured out which building I was going to do next, and decided on the enchanting gazebo. I made the base out of stripped pale oak logs and built pillars with spruce, and I also used spruce for the roof frame. And went looking for dye and almost died again. But I got some wool for the windmill. But I needed the dye for purple terracotta because I wanted to make a witch's hat, but couldn't find blue flowers anywhere, so I settled for magenta. Then, of course, I found the blue flowers I needed later. And I also finished the windmill. I made the hat purple and created the enchanting table, and went to put it into the gazebo. Which, apparently, I don't have clips of me finishing this, but I promise you see the whole thing eventually. I just don't know where these clips went. And after that, I enchanted my first diamond pickaxe, which actually lasted the entire village build, and I didn't even have unbreaking on it, so don't ask me how that worked. It just did. Between these clips, I went on vacation. Then, when I came back, the copper age had dropped, so I went to go collect some for tools and decor. While all of that was smelting, I started work on the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and coffee shop. And side quest, I made a copper block and set it down to oxidize because I wanted the copper cape and needed to place a copper golem statue to complete the quest. I'll update y'all if I get it or not. Anyway, I built the supports out of spruce and made one side taller than the other. You'll see why soon. And I filled the walls with the usual orange terracotta, but this time I used stripped acacia logs for texture. And I was looking in my chests for birch saplings and didn't see the two smack dab in the middle of my chest. So I went back to the cave to get the ones I knew I left in the chest down there. It's fine, guys. Anyway, I planted those and started work on the awnings at the front and went for an orange and white stripes. And it took a second to figure it out, but I managed to make it look good. Then I added another to the side to balance it all out. I put in brick floors and birch ceilings. Then took a minute to admire the new copper torch and lanterns, which I am so happy they added during pumpkin season because it's more orange decor. After that, I added a balcony to the extension area and to the top roof. After I was happy with that, I was on quite a roll, so I got straight to work on the next thing, which was a giant pumpkin. I had already made one super similar in my hardcore world before. It was really just an orange ring, then built one block out and built up a couple blocks, then one in again, filled in this time. I made this stem out of moss, which took many tries to get right, and I noticed the copper block had oxidized, so I made it into a copper golem, and it literally turned into a statue 3 seconds later. So I broke it, then placed it to get the copper cape, but there was like no achievement, so I'll let you know if I get it. I plopped little guy in the pumpkin to live there for now. With the pumpkin done, I started on the biggest building, which was going to be the library. I couldn't decide between white or orange for walls, but I settled for orange to match the town, and of course I textured it with acacia planks. Then I started on the spruce roof, which the front and back design I drew freehand in a coffee shop one day and didn't even test it to see if it worked, but it actually worked out better than I thought it would. And for the side, I did another A-frame because my brain hurt enough at this point. And then in the middle, I wanted another giant pumpkin on top, which is practically the same as the one I had just made. But I was out of moss, so I went back to the cave to get some. And of course, say it with me now, missed my jump. If I fell one more block, I would have been dead. So I put the stem on top. Textured the pumpkin. And then I added some white trim to the roof and details of shelves. Yes, I might be a little obsessed with the shelves. I try to get a good look at the library, but it's really hard with the fog of the biome. Then I wanted to make a face out of shroom lights, but I didn't have enough obsidian, so I gathered some lava, but it was still not enough. So I stole the corners to replace them. Then I got flint from the river, but I didn't have any iron. But did I go back home? No. I went to the nearby mountain to find a cave, so I jumped in the hole, nearly died fighting skeletons, mined some iron, then had to run home in the dark because I left my bed next to the portal. And then I was informed by both the game and my brother that I couldn't use the crying obsidian even though I thought I had before, but it was just in the corners. Yes, I am too cringing at my bad decisions. Eventually, I got through. And luckily spawned right where I needed to be. I collected shroom lights and some glowstone in case I like it better, then quickly got back to the portal because I was being attacked. But of course nearly died again before I took the piglin out. He wanted to visit. I added a face to the pumpkin, which took a while to figure out, but I eventually got it, which seems to be the theme of this video other than me missing my jump. It looks a bit silly, but I do really like it. But then it started raining and I couldn't see anything, so I worked on all of the interiors. You can see I added details on the outsides, and don't mind the cows, I'm farming more leather. But anyway, starting with the cafe, I added tables and chairs to the outside, and I added a bigger one to the side. And going in, there's a ton of pumpkins and a copper golem manning the counter with shelves filled with pumpkin themed treats. There's more seating in here, and I'm actually pretty proud of my little shelf slab design for chairs. And if you go up the stairs, there's more seats with a large table and a view of the village. And you could go up the ladder as well to the top to where there's more like a lounge area with also a really great view. Then, if we head over to the library, it's not finished yet because I'm trying to get more leather, and that's why there's a cow pen in the middle of the village. But I tried to make it feel cozy, but also kind of maze like. But there's also places to sit and chill or work on stuff. And there's this weird little corner seat. I don't know. I wouldn't sit here in real life because it's too high of a traffic, but I like it. Headed over to the pumpkin house. Adding pale leaves around it really tied it into the surroundings. Headed inside, I filled it with more pumpkins and copper golems, and don't worry, I'll let all of these little guys go once I'm done building. Anyway, I noticed this area in front of my house was feeling a bit empty, so I texted my cousin and she said to do a pumpkin spice lake with the fog effect with glass, which is a great idea and I would have loved to do that, but I don't have the time or patience for all of that glass and digging. So I opted for a pumpkin shaped pond instead, although I will probably do a fog effect pond sometime in the future. But as I was digging it, the recording had stopped for some reason, and I didn't realize until I finished the pond. So, unfortunately, I didn't record any of it. But this is what it looks like. I added a face with glowstone at the bottom, and I added the two axolotls I had scooped earlier and named them Spice and Latte. But then they immediately got stuck in the stem, so I had to re-scoop them and fix it. I added some more books to the library and moved the cows. After After which I was looking around and was thinking I needed to connect all these buildings together to make it feel like a village. And I decided to put a pumpkin patch in the middle of pretty much everything. So I cleared out some moss to replace it with dirt. Added water, then tilled it, then planted seeds randomly. Which is always how I plant seeds. Then I gathered the materials I needed for the paths and chose a palette of orange terracotta, acacia planks, and red sand. And started digging paths and randomly placing blocks. Near the end of the pathing, I ran out of red sand, so I dug a few up and started incorporating stripped acacia logs, and I made it stretch a good bit. Then I sheared a whole bunch of pumpkins to make into jack-o'-lanterns to light up the place and decorate. Then went on a quick pale leaf and pale hanging moss run and grabbed some eye blossoms. I made a border around the pumpkins and started spamming big pumpkins I made and normal ones. And covered the big ones with pale leaves to tie them into everything more. After collecting more pumpkins, I started replacing all the torches with lit pumpkins and copper lanterns. I added some more details to the pond. And began a wall around the village using pale leaves and, of course, ran out. But I continued on and added pumpkins as well. I made more lit pumpkins and got rid of the rest of the torches. And added the final details of eye blossoms and it was rudely greeted when I went to get more. I was and the village was looking great from afar. I grabbed some leaf litter and spent a hot minute putting it on the path, breaking it, putting it back again, just trying to figure out how to put it there. I figured it out. It's fine. So, and I think it looks good. With all the details in, I looked around and decided I needed something in the sky. So I dumped my things, grabbed a golden helmet, and headed for the nether portal. And was kindly reminded to put my helmet on. And then I went looking for a Soul Sand Valley. And I'm pretty sure I came across every other biome except a Soul Sand Valley. And literally danced with two gasps before having to dig a cubbyhole for myself and healing. And I did find a valley, but when I did, I fought for my life and went mountain climbing and finally found what I was looking for on the edge of a cliff. Which somehow I managed to get down there without falling and secured my package. And then I may or may not have gotten lost on my way back, and okay. Yes, okay, Daddy. Maybe you were right, and I shouldn't be randomly running around the nether, not keeping track of where I was going. But usually when I do, it works out fine, and I can find my way back. I don't know why it was different this time. It just was. I did get a cool view of the ocean, of the lava ocean, though. I did end up having to stop and look at the recording to get the coordinates, and I eventually got my way back to the portal. When I got home, I put the dried gas in the pond and was going to sit and wait. But then I started burying firefly bushes to get the particle ambience, which I absolutely loved, and it's a really fun trick to do with your Minecraft builds. And I put them all over the village. I made a harness for the gas, of course I dyed it orange, and admired the village once again. And went on a 1,000-block journey to get snowballs for my ghast. And it was snowing when I got there. I took a nap and headed back. When I got back, I did the necessary pumpkin parkour, dumped my things, and sat to wait for my friend to hydrate. And it was so cute when it grew. I gave it snowballs and did not hit it with one of them when they grew. I gave him a harness and named him Pumpkin. So now there's Pumpkin the Happy Gast, then Spice, and Latte the Exolotls. I bounced around a bit with the village finish, and I am so happy to let you guys finally continue on to the final tour. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll let past me go ahead and take care of y'all now. Guys, it is finally time. I am so excited for this. I finally finished the village. Right now, I'm on day 147, so it took quite a while, but we're finally here, and now I can give a tour. You ready to see it? Obviously, we're starting in my house. This is the first thing I built. We'll pretend a chest monster isn't slowly brewing. I got tons of furnaces, place to sleep, my clock, and just some storage. Super simple. Outside, this is what it looks like on the outside. Oh! Whoops. This is what it looks like on the outside. I love it so much. It's so cozy. And then we come around the back here, and this is the back garden where I grew my wheat and my sugarcane. And I tried to grow some cocoa beans so I could have some brown dye to work with, but then I never worked with brown dye, so you know, it's fine. Next up, right next to my house, we have this beautiful pumpkin lake, which I tried to make look like a pumpkin. There's little eyes down there, and we have Spice and Latte swimming around in there. And honestly, this might be just the best pond I've ever done. Moving along to our second build, we have the windmill, and I added some pale hanging moss to it. I feel like looks a bit overgrown. Inside is just a bunch of pumpkin storage because there wasn't really anything else for me to put in here. And it looks pretty nice as pumpkin storage because where else you could put all of these freaking pumpkins. Speaking of pumpkin, hello Pumpkin. Pumpkin's the happy gas who flies around here. He's adorable. Next up, we have our Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And inside, we have more pumpkins, of course, some seating. And we have our copper golem who's manning the cache area, whatever you call it. And then I've put like a pumpkin there for like a pumpkin treat. I think like some pumpkin ice cream or cotton candy as the dye, some pumpkin candies, a pumpkin bar, just like pumpkin food and stuff. And I'm actually pretty proud of this little chair design that I did with the shelves. In case you can't tell, I am loving the shelves. We got some nice seating up here. You can take a look at the village with the table and the pumpkins. And then up here is more like chill seating, where you just chill. I don't know what else you would do, but it has such a beautiful view of our village. I am so proud of this, guys. This took me forever to do, but it was definitely worth it. Now if we go back down, through our village, the second building I think we actually built was this enchanting gazebo, which I hear skeleton. which it's supposed to look like a witch's hat. I don't think I established that very well, but it feels nice and cozy in here. I mean, that's what the goal was, so you know. Yeah. Oh, and of course we have our giant pumpkin patch right here. It's not really giant, but there's certainly a good amount of pumpkins in here. Ah, shoot. Do I have my hoe? No, I don't. We'll ignore that for a second. Then next up, we have our giant pumpkin with our copper golem friends. And now, let me just clean up in here a little bit. Now that our village is finished, I think it's about time we can set these guys free. I did not mean to do it all the way right there. I was thinking after the tour, but you know, it's okay. I'll come back to free the rest of them. And then up next is our pumpkin library. I didn't have any wax, guys, so I couldn't wax these. But my goal here was to make this nice and tall, nice and cozy. We have a orange carpet, and then I wanted to feel it more like maze-like, so I didn't do perfect lines. Let me turn the mob sounds down because those guys are getting very annoying. Okay, I turned mob sounds off for half a second. I'm sure it's not going to be absolutely terrible, but here's a nice like little open spot, and then we come around here and there's like a little tiny spot over here where you can look out and kind of see my house. You kind of can't, but you know what, it's fine. So very, very cozy in there. And of course we have pumpkin flying around, and I let go of the some of the cows that had helped me get leather for the library. I thought they immediately escaped, but it's fine. And I filled the wall with pale leaves and pumpkins, of course. And yeah, it looks like that's the entirety of our pumpkin village. We filled the details with just a bunch of pumpkins and flowers. Let me see if Pumpkin will let me ride on him right now. Pumpkin, come back! Pumpkin! Pumpkin! Come on, buddy. Yes, yes. Yeah! Let's go up. See, isn't this just the best little pumpkin village you have ever seen? Let me go up a little higher. It's just, I love this. I love it so much. I'm so, so proud of this. Gosh, I love it, love it, love it so much. I'm kind of sad I'm leaving it, but also I'm just very happy that I accomplished this. So, yeah. Now let me get back on him. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Okay, now we only have one more thing left to do. And I'm very excited for this. Now it's time to let our copper... We're missing one. He went somewhere, it's fine. Let our copper golems free. Let them walk around the village. Keep the door open wide. I think they can open doors, but I'll just keep it open for them. And yeah, they can. Yeah, let me shut it so they don't get confused. Because they'll try to open and shut it and just not be able to get out. And of course, don't worry guys, I didn't forget about him. You're no longer need to work here. I mean, you can still work here. I'm just saying you're off now, you know? Yeah, you know. Anyway, with that, my friends, I'm gonna have to wrap up this video. I am so happy with what I managed to do here in 147 days to be exact. Obviously there's no day counter because I wasn't counting the days. Ah! Hold on. Pause. Wait a second. Maybe it was a bad thing that I didn't, maybe it's a bad thing that I turned off the mob sounds. Oh, please. Let me just, yeah, there we go. I didn't make the wall to be completely mob-proof, okay? I will not die on the last I will not die. I'm not dying today. It's fine, guys. Everything's fine. Anyway, with that, the video comes to a close. I really hope you enjoyed it. I've spent so many hours building in this video, material collecting. There's a bunch of days that I didn't even record because I was just off in the mesa collecting terracotta, then chopping so many trees when I was clearing this place out. But yeah, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm gonna say super please this time because I worked so hard on this video, but still, subscribe if you enjoyed. And with that, our pumpkin village comes to a close, and me, Pumpkin, and the 2 axolotl spice and latte will see you. Well, they won't be in my next episode, but it's fine. And I'll see you next time. Bye! Happy Halloween!